Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Cato and I'm so glad you're joining me again today. Today I made another reverse confetti project, and this time it's for their inspiration station, which is a newsletter item on the reverse confetti newsletter, and it's really fun because every week a designer creates a project based on a picture they found. So I'll leave a link in my description below where you can sign up for this newsletter. Now you probably already saw my project at the start of the video, so what I'm creating is a rainbow wreath, and I'm going to show you two ways to do this. And the first way I'm doing this is on my card, the second way will be on my envelope. Now the first way is definitely way more time intensive. I spent 2 hours making this card and it was well worth it. Now I have two stamp sets with matching dies from Reverse Confetti that contain a leaf image. And I started out by die cutting a bunch of those leaves from white cardstock, and then I'm ink blending over them to give them some color. There were more leaves I did this with, but it got a little long to put in the video, so I cut most of it. But now I am going to stamp on these colored leaves, and I'm doing that by using the negative space from one of those die cut pieces. And I put some tape on the back. This is just painter's tape. Then I'm taping that piece in my Misti as well, so it stays nice and put. And then I can insert a die cut every time, and there I stamp on, just using my Misti. When I line up my stamp on this die cut piece, I know it will stamp on every die cut piece properly. So every time I am using a darker ink to stamp on this, then I take it out of the negative space, put another colored die cut in place, use another colored ink, and stamp again. And the stamp doesn't move, it stays put nicely. So this is really fast. It's a trick I learned from Jennifer McGuire, and it's my favorite way to use my coordinating dies to create lots of different pieces. Probably because I'm also really bad at lining up coordinating dies with a stamped image. Now for my background, I wanted to do a tone-on-tone background as well. This is just some white on white. Those make gorgeous backgrounds, but I like to add dimension to them. So I cut this all lined up cover confetti cut 3 times from white thick cardstock, and then I can glue that all together with the Barely Art Precision Craft glue, and that gives me a nice stacked background piece. Now the thing that took me the longest by far on this card was the lining up the wreath. I love doing this, so it was by no means a hardship, but it took me a while to get it just the way I wanted it to be. And the first tip I have to give you for cards like this: cut more pieces than you think you need. I cut so many leaves and I just barely had enough. I think I had 3 leaves left over, which is crazy for the amount of leaves I cut. Now there's one more thing that I did for these die cuts. I die cut 2 extra layers for each piece, and I glued those all together to add dimension to all the die cuts. So all these die cuts are 3 layers thick, and that gives a really nice dimension to the leaves and the wreath, and I really like it, but it did take me some time. Now again, on the envelope, I will show you a way less time intensive process to create a similar look, but one of the time savers I used on the card was press and seal. This is one of those magical kitchen gadgets that's perfect for the craft room, and I think Jennifer McGuire's husband invented it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's true. Basically, it's sticky cling wrap, and you just put it over your die cuts like I did here, and it will pick them up and keep them in place nicely, so you don't have to pick them all up separately and add glue to them and shift everything around and ruin all the time you spend on organizing your wreath properly. So this saved a lot of time. I can add glue to the back of all of them at once and then glue them all down at once too. Now this is a great product, but you do have to be a little bit careful when pulling it up. It's not some magical product that will never ruin your paper. I didn't have any issues this time, but if your ink blending is a little bit wet still, you will pull up some of the paper. I've had that happen before, so just be a little bit careful. Now I did have those larger leaves as well, and I added those in again as a second layer on top of my wreath. So this is a very thick card, and I will make an extra large envelope for this as well. For my sentiment strip, I also layered a couple of pieces of cardstock behind it to add some dimension to that as well and make it stand out nicely from the wreath. Now, of course, I couldn't resist adding embellishments to this gorgeous rainbow wreath, and I am just using some Pinkfresh Studio gems. These are the white ones. I will list them in the description below because I don't know what they're actually called. But I've never used them before, I think. I have a lot of issue using white iridescent sequins or embellishments, but I thought they fit nicely here. And now comes the magic time-saving trick. I'll first create my envelope. Again, this is slightly larger because I had a lot of leaves hanging over the edge as well, so this just wouldn't fit in a regular A2 sized envelope. But I just use an envelope punch board calculator online. I will also leave that link below, and that made me figure out the right envelope size. Now I've already started on the magic, and the magic is this. You die cut with your coordinating dies, you die cut some craft foam, and you can stamp perfectly with this. I had no issue stamping with it, and I've done this before as well. I've never had issues with it. But these inks especially are great for it. I'm using the Pinkfresh Studio inks. I have also tested it with the reverse confetti inks, and those work great as well. And I think the reverse confetti inks are actually smoother for ink blending, so I highly recommend you use those if you have them. I didn't have enough colors to make the rainbow happen. So I just stamped those out by adhering them temporarily to acrylic blocks, and then I can stamp in darker colors over them with the actual stamps, and that gives a nice tone-on-tone look as well. Now you can perfectly make this into a wreath, especially if you die cut some masking paper as well, so you can mask off some leaves and create an even more intricate wreath. That would be really cool. I didn't have any masking paper on hand, so that's why I didn't do that, but that would make your card especially cool. Anyway, that's my project finished for today. I hope you subscribe to the Reverse Confetti newsletter because they have some amazing inspiration in there, and it's definitely worth it to get some emails into your inbox. I really love how this rainbow fall wreath turned out. I hope you did too. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. You can also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.